Hi everyone, I hope you're good guys. Today I'm gonna give you some tips to find the perfect vocal for your techno track. So lately I've been working on a techno track, kind of modern techno track during my live stream, and I wanted to add a vocal. And then I found a vocal and I wanted to share with you my journey or how I found it and give you some tips that can help you as well to find techno track, a techno vocal. So it might sound a little bit cliche, but in techno, most of the vocals are related to drugs, and you're most likely to find the word ecstasy, cocaine, MDMA, and all this kind of word in techno track. Most of the time, people take sentence extract from drug-related movie or old sci-fi movie or even just old movie. And last example is the track Hell on Earth from Cast. The vocal of the track has been sample from an old movie called Network. I think the movie is like from 1976 or something like this. So that can be one source where you can dig for your vocal. But the problem with a movie is most of the time there is music in the background or SFX, and it makes it hard to resample the vocal and use it in your own track because we'll have this music in the background. So if there is a lyric or speech that you really like in a movie, but there is this music in the background and it's impossible to use, you can still write down the lyrics, maybe modify a little bit, make it your own, and then record it yourself or ask for a friend or relative to record for you. And then you can use it in your track. One tip I can give you maybe is, instead of looking for a movie, it's maybe find an interview rather than a movie. Like, you have less chance to have a noise or music in the background. Like, let's say for example, basically a doctor or scientist talking about drugs and his effect during an interview or documentary. So to help you to maybe find ideas, I've created this kind of bar chart. I divided it in 4 categories, and the first one is content material. So it's what kind of document you will look for. So mainly, most of the time, people use old content. It's like, everything which is old. First, you can use it without any copyright problem, and usually it's got this nice little old school vibe, let's say. And so all what is from the radio, the TV speeches, which are old, usually it's working well. You can go look for in documentary interview, like I said, because you don't have music in the background and you have a lot of scientists and stuff like that who are talking about drugs in general. And then you can look into speeches and keynote and conference. Same, this kind of researcher, teacher, and kind of who are like trying to find something and give explanation about the brain and the cells, how it's acting, how it's affecting our body. This kind of stuff, you can find as well in this kind of content, and there is usually absolutely no background, no noise, no effects, no music. And then finally movie and TV show. So that's give you a little bit where to target your research, like what kind of content to look for. Second things we can help you is to define obviously a topic. So here you have plenty of topics. I've put them. You can there is maybe more I forgot. You have obviously drug or ecstasy, MDMA, all kind of stuff. Maybe talking about love peace. There is some vocal as well. It doesn't need to be like very negative or drugs, or it can be like, talking about positivity and this kind of stuff. You have obviously physics, space. I've write down as well society problem, conspiracy, rebellion, violence, danger. You will understand after why I write this when I will show you that. All of which is about future, sci-fi, genetics, especially old movie about like futuristic things where they kind of try to find what's happened in the future can be interesting as well. All about the brain, the subconscious, hallucination, how the brain acting. And even if it's not really like straight to drug related, if you put that in the track, even if the guy doesn't say the word drugs or stuff like that, people will straight away make the connection between what he's saying and like if it was a drug, even if it's not. And then you can talk as well about hypnosis or mentalism, same as for the brain, this kind of thing that the guy is gonna talk about. And even if it's not drug related, like if you put in a techno track, people will believe that it's drug related. And then about security, internet, and I will come back to this later. So next things who can help you to like look the kind of keyword that you can enter in your research and help you to find a specific topic is to define who is the speaker or lecturer. Like for example, if it's a physicist, chemist, engineer, scientist, like I was telling you, like try to find like old documentary talking about drugs and who is say about a chemist. Like for example, on YouTube you can just enter like scientist, ecstasy, and then after you can look for like all the interview. That's why I'm like now you can maybe start to understand how this work, you know, like find a topic, who is saying the topic, okay, scientist, ecstasy, and I'm gonna look for interview because I know I will not have like background music or stuff like that. And I will show you an example of my case later. So then politics, influencer, so same like about all of this social society problem, all about this kind of stuff, like who are more or less related to politics, you know, can be sampled, can be interesting sometimes. Just be careful because don't avoid controversy. And then yeah, all what is teacher, doctor, researcher. So what I was telling you about the keynote and the speeches, stuff like that, usually are done by this kind of people. And same if you talk like, if I don't know, for example, put like teacher talk about brain keynote, and you'll probably find something. You will for sure find like a keynote about a guy who is talking about the brain and how the brain affects our perception, our vision when we are tired, blah, blah, blah. Even if, like I said before, even if it's not drug related, you know, when you take it out of the context and put it in the techno track, people will make the connection anyway. So, you know, you can try to see if it works or not. And the last things, alright, who can help you to target what you are looking for is the type of speech. So I put motivational, inspirational. Like I say, it doesn't need to be like negative or about the problem. Can be as well like very motivational, talking about peace, love, this kind of stuff, you know. And it will be even be a bit original because we don't have that much stuff like that. But yeah, and then I put whistleblower, political. So that's what is related to political influencer, and which is about security, internet, conspiracy, rebellion, violence, you know. Like, for example, when I say that, it's like, imagine something like, by the Anonymous or something in the, maybe in the series Mr. Robot as well, you can maybe find, you know, this kind of stuff, this kind of topic, like, which can be related to techno as well, which can be interesting. Edward Snowden as well, I don't know, I haven't seen his movie, but there is probably some stuff to sample, interesting. And then informative statement, this is like I said, for the keynote, the teacher, and like, yeah, just people explaining their research, and you can sample that and help. So let me show you an example of what I was saying. So for my track, here's the vocal, I've got it, how I've done that. I've been on YouTube and I write ecstasy chemist, alright? Then you have a lot of things, and I was looking for, because before I've been looking for a movie, like drug-related movie, I couldn't find really something. So I say, okay, let's try trying an interview. And so I scroll down and I see this one. I see this old, like you see the old video, you say, okay, this is the old video. Like the sound is gonna be like sounding old, which is great because it's working for this kind of track. And it's talking about MDMA and ecstasy. I realized after, I think this guy is the guy who invented it, but I'm not sure about. So then I just click and okay.
Brave's favorite pharmaceutical.
So you watch the video trying to find where he's talking about drugs.
Dioxy and meth. So Dr. Shulgin and tested on friends.
Actually, it's about 40 years ago. I started with a drug that is an isolate from a cactus called mescaline.
And then bingo.
And it was an 8-hour experience. My curiosity was if such a simple molecule can allow me...
So when I hear that, I say, okay, let's record it. And even if the guy doesn't pronounce the word drugs or stuff like that, you know that if you put in the track, people will understand. So what I'm usually doing, you can open Audacity and you can re-record, record your own sound of the computer and just to...
Years ago, I started with a drug that is an isolate from a cactus called mescaline. And it was an 8-hour experience. My curiosity was if such a simple molecule can allow me this type of openness, the so-called psychedelic experience, what modifications that molecule will modify, improve, change, redirect that type of introspection. And hence that became my research search. Ah, magnificent.
All right. So then I say, okay, perfect. I've got my vocal. So then you can just like file, export as a wave. And then you go back in Ableton and you put in a simpler, and you have the slice mode, which allowed you to slice the party you want, and then with the push or with keyboard you can just straight away.
An 8-hour experience, my curiosity was if such a simple molecule can allow me this type of openness, what modifications that molecule will modify, improve, change, read.
So you see, it's not even saying the word, but you will straight away make the reference that is talking about drugs. And then so I've done a bit of process. I will come back maybe on another video about that, but it's just like a look at some reverb, delay, compression, saturation, like usually nothing crazy. And then you just put it in your track. So the track is like I said, it's like the track I'm doing during my live stream right now. So it's no finish at all. It's like work in progress. So the mix is not perfect and stuff like that. But just to make you understand in the context now how the vocals sound.
What modifications that molecule will modify, improve, change, redirect that type of introspection. My curiosity was if such a simple molecule can allow me this type of openness.
So, but obviously, I don't know if it's really synchronized, and I didn't, like I said, it's still work in progress, but you can see like that's work rec, even if it doesn't say the word drugs, even if you know, it's talking about chemistry, it's a techno track, so straight away you make the connection. All right, even if that's kind of cliche, you know, it works, it's just work. So yeah, now you might think, okay, but what about the copyright? Because you know, you're taking this and okay, so this one is it's a all interview, so even the guy, I think he's dead. So anyway, even if you don't really have the copyright, anyway, you're gonna modify, so I maybe not be recognizable, and even if it's recognizable, like I don't think anyone will sue you one day. I mean, like except if you making a lot of money with your track, yes, people will sue you. But if you don't make money, that much money, people are not gonna sue you, lose time and money just for a couple of thousand, or I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like, I would take the risk, you know, like don't even care about the copyright, because like, you know, if you take from a conference and the guy realize he gonna just don't care, you know, it's like, okay, it's just a kid with a techno track, you know. But obviously if it was like for a track that you think is gonna be breaking the chart and selling millions and doing millions of stream, yeah, you need to have the copyright, otherwise you're gonna lose all your money. But if you know that you're not gonna make a couple of thousand with this track, just go for it. And even I think even if you do, like the chance for the guy know that you use his interview or his vocal and come back to you and sue you, or I mean, like I think it's likely impossible. But yeah, because otherwise there is a lot of websites with free content and stuff like that, but usually honestly the quality is it's not that good, and you need to spend a lot of time, and you doesn't really find nothing. You find people who recording themselves in the bathroom, you know, and it just sound horrible. So yeah, I recommend to do that and just modify, or like I said before, you can just like copy the lyrics, write them down, modify them a little bit, make it your own, and then re-record it yourself and reuse it. Alright guys, so I hope you liked the video. I hope you understood a little bit my way of thinking, like writing what down, and to help you like to narrow a little bit what you're looking for, and like this make your research easier, and you can go straight away to the point, and it's even give you inspiration, you know. Like I said, like if you was like, okay, you cannot find nothing about drug, why not about security, like I said, Mr. Robot, this kind of stuff, who knows, you know, you can just look for and try to see if you found something, put it in your track, and let's see if it works. Alright, thank you very much for watching guys. Do not forget to like and subscribe, and see you soon. Bye guys.